I was lying on the small, second-hand couch in my Seattle apartment, one hand holding a mug of lukewarm tea, the other resting on my forehead. The silence in the room was thick, until it was broken, once again, by the buzzing of my phone on the coffee table. Mom, Dad, Kevin. Same three names, same loop, again and again. It had been 6 months since I walked out of that house. No yelling, no accusations, not even a dramatic slammed door. I had simply packed a small bag with a few clothes, my old laptop, and a worn leather finance notebook, and left. Just as the sun dipped behind the skyline, I stepped into a different life. No one followed, no one asked why, and no one imagined I wouldn't come back, because I was Belinda, the dependable one, the fixer, the good daughter who always sent money when the utility bill was late, the one who transferred funds in the middle of the night when Kevin lost yet another job, the one who never said no. But in this tiny apartment, wrapped in quiet, I finally realized something terrifying and freeing. I had spent nearly a decade holding together a system I never agreed to build, a system where love looked like obligation, and silence was the only thanks I ever got. The phone vibrated again. I didn't answer. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty about it. Growing up, I believed that being responsible would earn me love. That if I just stayed out of trouble, kept my grades up, and helped out when things got tough, eventually, someone would say thank you. But no one ever did. While Kevin, my older brother by 3 years, floated from job to job, from grand ideas to sudden burnouts, I worked. I started earning at 16, wiping tables at a local bakery while my classmates hung out at the mall. I saved every cent, bought myself a used computer, paid my way through community college, and eventually landed a full scholarship to the University of Washington. Still, I was never the star. Kevin was. He was the dreamer, the misunderstood artist, the one Mom defended when he quit another job because the manager was controlling. The one Dad praised for his potential after he spent 6 months gaming in the basement. And me? I was the background character, the reliable one who never complained. The girl who bought groceries when the fridge was empty, paid the internet bill when Kevin forgot, and quietly filled in every financial gap without being asked, because if I didn't, no one else would. At home, failure was comforted, but responsibility was invisible, and that's who I became. A ghost with a paycheck. It started small, $80 here, $150 there. Belinda, we're a little tight this month. Could you help with the power bill? Kevin needs to enroll in this new online course. It could really turn things around. At first, I didn't think twice. I made decent money. I lived alone. Helping my family felt like the right thing to do. But then small became routine. Routine became expected. And before I realized it, I was covering the mortgage, the water heater repair, Dad's medications, even Kevin's birthday dinner. I wasn't asked anymore. I was informed. We need $200 by Friday. The house insurance is due. Can you send Kevin something? He's been down lately. And I did. I sent it all. Every month, without fail, I pushed my own dreams aside, postponed my down payment on an apartment, canceled weekend plans, skipped meals, to keep them afloat. I told myself it was temporary, that they'd catch up eventually. But they never did. Instead, I watched Kevin sleep in till noon, then play video games all afternoon. I heard Mom praise his sensitive soul while reminding me not to act superior just because I had a career. And I started to wonder, was I really helping them? Or was I just enabling the lie that they didn't have to grow up? One rainy Sunday, after a 10-hour weekend shift, I stopped by the grocery store like I always did. Salmon for Dad's diet, almond milk for Mom, snacks Kevin liked. I spent nearly $120 that day. My own fridge had nothing but a half-empty bottle of ketchup. When I walked through the front door, no one greeted me. Mom was already standing in the kitchen, arms crossed, eyes sharp. "Belinda, we need to talk," she said. "What you're sending each month, it's not enough anymore." I froze, groceries still in my arms. Dad chimed in from the living room. You live alone, you have a good job. Meanwhile, we're struggling every day. Don't you think that's a little unfair? I stared at them. Two people I had carried financially for years, speaking to me like I owed them more. Then Kevin, feet up on the coffee table, didn't even look away from his phone. It's not like you're starving. What's the harm in sharing? That word, sharing, burned. Sharing goes both ways. But all I ever did was give, and all they ever did was take. I set the grocery bags down, heart thudding. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilt. I felt anger, and with it, a strange kind of clarity. Mom's lips tightened, that familiar expression of disapproval sharpening her features. If it's that much of a burden, she said coldly, you can walk out that door. Don't bother coming back. The room fell silent. I think they expected me to beg, to explain myself, but I didn't. I looked at the table where the grocery bag sat, still unopened. I looked at Kevin, who had gone back to scrolling, completely unfazed, and then I looked at the front door. All right, I said quietly, but firmly. If that's how you feel, then I hear you. I didn't slam the door. I didn't raise my voice. I just walked out into the rain, out of the role I had played for far too long. No one followed me. No one called after me. The water soaked through my jacket, my shoes, my hair, but for the first time I felt light, as if every drop washed away a piece of the weight I'd carried for years. I didn't drive straight home. I pulled into a quiet gas station parking lot, opened my contacts, and blocked them all. Mom, Dad, Kevin. It wasn't out of spite. It was survival. And it was the first decision I'd made purely for me. My new apartment wasn't glamorous. Third floor, cracked window frames, creaky floors, and the faint scent of old wood lingering in the halls. But it was mine. No one knocked on my door asking for grocery money. No one called at midnight begging for help with another overdue bill. No one expected me to fix anything. For the first time in years, I was allowed to exist without being useful. I spent weekends reading, walking through Volunteer Park with a coffee in hand, and falling asleep to the sound of rain instead of arguments echoing down the hallway. I brewed my own coffee. I opened the blinds every morning and let the light in. Slowly, my savings account began to recover. I didn't buy much, but I didn't have to panic at every transaction either. I started feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Control. The kind of peace that doesn't come from escaping chaos, but from choosing to stop feeding it. I wasn't just rebuilding my finances. I was rebuilding myself, piece by piece, not as a provider, not as a fixer, just as Belinda. A woman finally breathing in a life of her own making. 3 months into my quiet new life, the messages started again. At first it was subtle. One text from Mom. Your dad got a letter from the bank. Something's going on. Call me. I stared at it, didn't respond, because I knew what something meant. It always meant money. A few days later, Dad called. Then again, and again. His voicemails went from calm to concerned to pleading. Mom messaged, "Are you really going to abandon your family like this?" Kevin left a voice note that was sharp, almost angry. "You don't get to just walk away. If they lose the house, it'll be your fault." I didn't reply. I changed my work number. I blocked more contacts. But a part of me still wondered, was the house really in trouble? One evening, after a long meeting at work, I got another message, this time from Dad. "Why haven't you paid the mortgage this month? The bank's pressing us." The words made my chest tighten. I had stopped all financial support 6 months ago, entirely. So why would he say that like I was still expected to pay? I felt a chill run through me. Something wasn't just wrong. Something didn't add up. And this time, I needed answers. That night, I sat on my couch with a cup of tea that had long gone cold. I opened my laptop, logged into the bank account I used to send money for the mortgage, Dad's account. I had never checked it before. I had trusted them. They were my family. Why wouldn't I? I scrolled through the transaction history, line by line. Every payment I had made was there, documented, exact. But one detail stopped me cold. The last actual mortgage payment from that account? 8 months ago. Which meant I had sent money for 3 more months after that. Thousands of dollars. And none of it, not a single cent, had gone toward the house. I double-checked, triple-checked, then opened my own banking app. Sure enough, almost $3,000 had left my account after that final mortgage payment. Gone. No explanation, no warning, no apology. My hands started to shake. It wasn't just disappointment blooming in my chest. It was betrayal. A deep, sharp betrayal, wrapped in the faces I had once trusted the most. It wasn't that they were struggling. It was that they had lied. And they had used me while doing it. The next morning, I called the bank myself, calmly, professionally. After verifying my identity, the rep confirmed it. No full mortgage payment has been made since the start of the year. The account is now in special collections. I hung up, heart pounding. That night, my phone rang again. Dad. I answered. Belinda, I guess you found out. I didn't just find out, I said. I confirmed it. The house is 8 months behind. I kept sending money. Where did it go? There was a pause, then a sigh. It's not what you think. Mom jumped in, voice sharp. Don't speak to your father like that. You don't understand what we've been going through. Your brother lost his job again. The roof needed fixing. Your dad's back. I cut her off. Then why lie? Why pretend the mortgage was being paid? Silence. Then Kevin's voice. You're being dramatic. Everyone's struggling. You've changed. No, I said. I've just stopped accepting being used. Dad tried one last time. We need you, Belinda. If you don't help, we could lose the house. I closed my eyes, steadying my voice. Then lose it. It's not my responsibility anymore. And I hung up. Not in anger, but in peace. I powered off my phone that night and left it on the kitchen counter. Silent, unmoving. For the first time in years, no one could reach me. No calls, no texts, no guilt wrapped in exclamation points. The next morning, I woke up early, made coffee, and stood by the window as the city of Seattle slowly stretched into daylight. My apartment was small. The wallpaper was peeling in one corner. The radiator clicked like it had a secret rhythm. But it was mine, and it was quiet. Not the kind of silence that comes from being ignored, the kind that feels like freedom, but even freedom has its shadows. At night, when the work stops and the world slows down, I still wonder, did I go too far? What if they really lose the house? What if one day I get a call saying they have nowhere to go? Am I the villain now? I carried them for almost a decade. That doesn't disappear just because I stopped, but neither does the pain of being used. I'm not telling this story for pity. I'm telling it to ask, have you ever been called cold just because you said no once? Have you ever walked away, not out of anger, but to survive? If you have, maybe we're not alone. If Belinda's story resonated with you, leave a comment below. Tell us your story. Or just say, I understand. And if you believe in powerful, honest storytelling, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to know they're not alone. Would you like this turned into a script format for voiceover and editing, or want a visual breakdown per scene?